following presentation is
You know, there's something about disappointing the fans right at the end of the show that really gets Tony Khan going. Because last night, there were a couple of ways the main event could have gone. We're talking about Revolution 2025, Cope and Mox, and then it became a triple threat, or three-man, whatever, with Cope, Mox, and Christian Cage. There were several ways this could have gone. And potentially they picked the worst option. Christian Cage cashes in his contract for, anytime championship match. And it becomes a three-man match. Now, Christian does this and everybody's thinking, oh my goodness. Finally, Jon Moxley has been a very boring champion for months. And what do? Do they let Christian Cage win the whole thing? No, sir. In fact, Christian Cage was really only there to eat the pin from Moxley. They did it so that Adam Copeland didn't have to take a pin from Mox. So now we've wasted Christian Cage's contract, say that 5 times fast, and Moxley is still champion. We had several outcomes, and after a show like that, an incredible show, that is the ending that Tony Khan delivers to us. We've been very vocal online about how we don't like Moxley as champion right now. Look, Moxley's great. I mean, that carried the company during the pandemic era. He's a great wrestler. He's an AEW original. We love him. But he is a very boring champion. I was watching the Joe Cronin show last night, and he made a very good point. I forget that Jon Moxley is the champion. I barely watch AEW anymore at this point because it's just, I can't bring myself to do so. But sometimes I'll think about it, and I'll be like, wait, who's the champion again? Who's the AEW champion? And I forget. I'm like, oh, is it Bryan Danielson? No, it's not. He's not. He hasn't been here in a while. Is it Swerve? No, he lost it at All In. And I forget it's Jon Moxley. And the reason I forget it's Jon Moxley is because he never has it. He keeps it in that little stupid briefcase. You never see Moxley with the title. What does that say? Because to me, it says AEW in big-ass block letters. This is the AEW Championship. This needs to be around your waist, shoulder, whatever. You got to represent. You got to show the people that you are the champion, or else everybody's going to forget. I forgot. Do you think this would ever happen in the WWE? Because the WWE knows, they want their champion as the face of the entire company, as the face of the show. So they put that title on them and they wear it everywhere. They're doing a promo. They're not even fighting. They're just doing a promo. They've got that title around their waist, around their shoulder. They're doing PR stuff. They have the title. Now, Moxley has a briefcase, which is, we've seen that before. People have had Money in the Bank briefcases, right? And they're walking around with their Money in the Bank briefcases. And even though it's not a title, we still know it's important. Because when you carry around the briefcase everywhere you go, you get that image in your head like, oh yeah, this is the guy or this is the woman who is the Money in the Bank holder. And let me remind you, it's not just a briefcase they're holding. It's got big letters that say Money in the Bank. So we know who the Money in the Bank is. We know who the title holder is. We know who the champion is. But that's besides the point. Look, the show itself was really, really good. We had some incredible matches, some great booking, great stories. And then we get to the end, and you have several ways of doing this. You got several options. You can let Moxley, beat Adam Copeland and keep the title. You can let Adam Copeland take that title, which, I don't know, I would feel kind of weird about that myself. But then they bring in this new element of Christian Cage. And Christian Cage got that contract. So now there's many ways this could play out. Is Adam Copeland going to beat Christian Cage in this 3-way match? Is he going to pin Christian Cage? Is Christian Cage, he's been holding on to this thing for months. Is he going to spear Adam Copeland and get that revenge on him from that time when they had that match in Toronto? And instead, they have Moxley in an underwhelming finish, which, by the way, the main event itself, not great, but in an underwhelming finish, kind of choke out Christian Cage and then take that stupid briefcase and then run out of the arena with it. And the AEW fans left disappointed again. Now, it's not every time, okay? In fact, most of the time, AEW puts on some stellar endings to their pay-per-views. Some of the best pay-per-view endings in history have been produced by AEW. And when they're good, they're fantastic. But when they're like this, these are kind of the times when they need to be good. and they're not. Now, there have been many instances of this happening. The first one that I can recall was Revolution 2021, when we had the barbed wire exploding death match, whatever, and then that ending to it really just made the entire show look like garbage. It was a dud, it was a waste, it was laughable, it was terrible, and we got over it, we did, but man, like that really just, the fans were booing hard. They did not want to have to go home to that image. And that's kind of the case with all the times that they've had a pretty poor pay-per-view ending. But then, of course, there was MJF and Jay White. People hated that match for many reasons. And then they do, like a month after, MJF versus Samoa Joe at World's End. Now, the ending to that one was just, for the time, it was okay, but now when you look back on it, it's like, okay, this is like the moment when like AEW just got like really stupid. Adam Cole ends up being the devil, and then they never capitalize on that ever again in the company. It was a huge storyline, and that was the ending to that bromance, and it just fell completely flat. And then that brings us to today with Revolution 2025. When an AEW pay-per-view ending is very, very bad, it's not that like we'll never forget it or anything. It's just that the pay-per-views are so good. Like Tony Khan puts on amazing pay-per-views that when you get a dud ending like this, or a bad ending, it doesn't ruin the whole pay-per-view, but it turns it from a 10 out of 10 pay-per-view to like a 7.5 out of 10. The ending is critical. It's arguably the most important part of the entire pay-per-view, of the entire show. And when you have a show like Revolution 2025, it was fantastic. But then you put on that ending where Moxley is a boring champion. We don't want him as champion. Everything else about the night made sense. Everything else was like, yes, this should be happening. This should. And that's the other thing too. Dude, at Tony Khan, this isn't UFC. This isn't like boxing. Well, boxing's also pretty fake. But this is fake. It's your ending. You decide. And if 95% of fans can agree, hey, this is how the match should have gone. This is what they should be doing. Moxley shouldn't be champion. Why is he still champion? Now, they have about 8 pay-per-views a year now, so I don't know what the next one is. I think it's Double or Nothing, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Hopefully, the next pay-per-view has an incredible ending, because really, when you think about it, AEW's best pay-per-views ever, All Out 2021, arguably All Out 2022 is one of their best. The endings have been fantastic. And that's what happens. When you have a great show like Revolution 2025, or even Revolution 2021, and then you have that ending, it takes it from an all-time pay-per-view to just another pay-per-view. And it's very unfortunate, because this could have been the pay-per-view that said, okay, hey, AEW, it was perfect from start to finish. It was fantastic. AEW could potentially just be back. But clearly, there still needs to be some work to be done, right? That's it from me. Let me know what you thought about Revolution 2025, or about the ending. Was this the right ending? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. I don't know. Anyway, that's it from me. Good night.